I'm putting together a book and I would love you to be in it. How's it going, everybody? Welcome to this video. I'm sat here in the office with a coffee at my computer because I'm going for it, guys, and I'm writing a book and you can be in that book. So this first book that I'm going to put out there is going to be a collection of testimonials put together into a book, kind of like a little handbook for any guy who's looking to get through that bouldering, right? This book is probably for a guy who already knows that, you know what, I'm just going to embrace this, or maybe for just maybe I should just embrace this whole thing, rock the shaved head and move on from this, but they need a little bit of help. One of the things I hear most often is, your story helped me, or this person's story helped me. I love the stories, I can really relate to them and they really help me. You know, and not everybody wants to watch videos on YouTube all the time. People consume information in different ways, right? And something I just really felt, because these stories are so important to share, I love sharing them and I think they go such a long way. They're so big. You never know where that inspiration is going to come for someone, and often it's the relatability aspect, right? They just need that little bit of belief, that whole thing, that simple thing of like, this guy's done it, he was in the same position as me, he had the same fears, or he had the same worries, he did it. And it just gives people that little kickstart, that little something to say, yeah, like, I can do this. So if that is of any interest to you, right, if you would like to be in this book, if you want to put your story in there and share it, please email me in the email down below with the subheading book submission or Baldcafe book submission, and simply share your testimonial. I've got a link down below that email to a testimonial that someone shared on my website. I think it's really well written, it's a great little story, and that is the similar thing of what I'm looking for, okay? So for example, how much detail do you need to go into? I think some of the key aspects would be, of course, you know, to describe yourself a little bit back when the hair situation was falling out, maybe, you know, back, you know, the same thing, I had super thick hair and everyone told me, but maybe I had family members that were going bald, I wasn't sure if it would ever happen to me. You know the common trends between these stories, right? You know, growing up I was quite confident, but the hair loss really knocked my confidence. And describe those moments. Perhaps maybe there were some key things that happened, maybe a friend called you out, or maybe you were one of those guys who kind of discovered that bald spot in the mirror for the first time, right? Talk about the kind of freakouts, those real experiences, because this is the big thing, we keep it 100% real, and that is where the relatability comes from, okay? So by all means go into detail on those parts. Also, the bit after, so say for example, you know, eventually you embraced it, however that journey played out. Maybe, you know, you did the drugs, or you had a hair transplant, or you wore the hair system. That is all well and good. Talk about it, let's share it, okay? Let's share how you got through this whole thing and you came out the other side happier, feeling better, you know, just overall really just, it is life-changing for people, right? Genuinely, it is life-changing. Now, the thing about the after, you know, say if you think, yep, life got better, you know, talk about that as well. You know, talk about how, well, as I mentioned before, you know, maybe you got back to playing a sport that you'd been putting off for so long. We had Taz on the channel the other day. He was like, I wanted to go into my pool, right, the pool by my apartment building, but I was always like, I couldn't go in there when there was other people because of the hair fibers. We heard those crazy stories about times when you're in the shower with a lovely lady and you got the fibers in, or you don't want to take that hat off on dates, okay? So many interesting things that people have gone through this whole balding journey that I would love to hear in your testimonial, okay? Don't feel afraid to leave anything out. How did you approach family members, or how did you approach loved ones when you were talking about this, or who did you reach out to for help? Maybe you had a buddy, maybe you had a colleague, okay? You can get it all in there. Now, I cannot promise that everyone's story will go into the book. I would love to collect as many as I can, but of course I don't want to put together like a huge Bible, you know, a huge unreadable thing. It's going to have to be condensed to a certain extent. So I cannot make any promises that if you send in your story, that it's guaranteed to be in there, but I will do my best. Now, if you do submit your testimonial, if you'd like to share your story in the knowledge that your story might just be the one out there that helps a certain person get through it, you know, in my opinion, then it's well worth it. Completely just a job well done, right? A really good a job well done, and that's what I'm hoping for. You know, I mentioned in a recent video, it's just like you never know where that inspiration is going to come from for someone. I just feel like putting this book out there is just another thing that can help people. Really, that's what it's all about. Now, if your story is in there, I will of course send you a copy of this book. I'm not going to sign it. That's a little bit cringe, right? I'm no celebrity or anything like that. But I will write a little thank you note in there, of course, right? Express my gratitude, and I will send out a copy of the book to you, of course, absolutely free, if your story's in there, right? If your story's in there. So what else do I need to say? This, like I said, is going to be a little kind of supplementary, the little handbook, right? You know, I always describe Baldcafe as like, if you wanted help with this thing, if you wanted someone to talk to, you wanted someone to relate to, then Baldcafe is almost, you can envision it as like a physical space that you walk into. There's loads of guys in there that have been through the exact same thing that you're dealing with now, and they can just offer some friendly advice. You know, this isn't a like, you need to do this, you need to do that. If you don't do this, you're doing it wrong. Not what it's about at all. It's literally encouraging the conversation, sharing relatable journeys, relatable stories, and if you share your story, yeah, you could I just think you can feel good knowing that it's guaranteed. It is literally, I've talked about so many stories, it's guaranteed. You know, the amount of feedback I've got from stories shared on the podcast and on the YouTube channel, you know it's going to help someone out there, right? You really know it's going to help someone out. So I'm so excited, right? I've got 2 weeks off work here. Yesterday I had this idea for those 3 books, and I was like, right, I just got to get started with this. I've got to get started. I'm excited. Let's just do this. Let's stop waiting, right? I was fearful. Oh, are people going to like that? Is that going to be... No. Okay, no. We're just going to go for it. And I've got no idea how to publish a book. I don't know any of that stuff at the moment. That's the least of my concerns, right? Let's just get this done, put it together, get it out there, and like I said, I just hope it's going to act. Maybe it will be like something of a small book, you know, like this, just memoirs, stories, like a little handbook that people can open up, and and as they're kind of working through this stuff themselves, they can just read through and be like, oh, Mark, he was 29. Oh, no, a fellow Aussie, right? A fellow guy from Australia. And you know, it's just nice. It's just nice to read these success stories, share them, and I'm excited, guys. I'm excited. So if that is something that interests you, I'm hoping to honestly make some serious headway with this thing over these next 2 weeks, right? And let's just go for it. Let's put it out there. It's basically Baldcafe YouTube channel in physical form, right? In physical form. I feel like that's what this handbook will be. So I'm very excited. If you're interested, don't forget the link is down below. If you've got any questions, okay, don't worry. Feel free to ask me those questions. You can drop me an email as well. But I say go for it, right? Don't worry too much. Should it be like this? Should it be like that? Just give it a go. Don't worry about grammar and things like that. I'm not the best at that. I can always pay someone to work through that stuff. You know, if they need to, just double check it, of course. Just get your thoughts out there, guys. Get your stories out there. Send them over to me. Let's put this awesome book together. And I can't wait to see it. And if you share your story with me, I can't wait to get one of those books in your hands as well. Guys, I want to thank you for watching this video. This is exciting. I'm excited. Thank you all for watching. If you're a big supporter of the YouTube channel, thank you so much. And I'll see you very soon for another video. Goodbye.